What's going on is Anton from antondaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Before I hit the streets, because you know I'm on a time difference with Vegas, I want to have a conversation with you guys about this whole Kamala Harris isn't black thing. Now, this is a conversation that I had with my people on the panel on After Hours with Quentin and Mika, and then there was another caller that called in. Slimmy was off that night, but we were having this conversation because Candace Owens is basically uncovering all of this information about Kamala Harris. Now, I'm just starting to deep dive into it, partially because I'm just so busy, but also because I'm not sure that it really matters. Let's kick it for a minute. I'm not really sure that it matters. And the reason that I say that I'm not sure that it matters is because when I talk to people, because, I do street interviews, you guys seen the street interview that I did and all of that stuff. And when I'm kicking it with people in real life, of course, there is a demographic of people that navigate to their candidate depending on whatever their liberal views are or their conservative views, right? And tend to be drawn across color lines, but then you have some white women that are participating and voting for Kamala Harris, and then you have some black men that are participating and voting for Trump, right? And we can have an argument about demographics and who's registered and who's not registered and things like that. But one of the things that's been a huge part of this conversation, as far as the election in 2024 between Trump and Kamala Harris, has been, is she black, right? And we've never seen anybody outside of Obama, because firsts are important, right? Firsts are important. And so when people voted for Obama, partly because he was just a black man and not necessarily because he had the best policy, people just wanted to see a black man, or somebody be a first to become president of the United States of America. And it's similar with Kamala Harris, but it's a little bit different because the thing that we lean on, she'll never be another first as far as black, but then, they're leaning on identity politics as far as her being a woman, being black, and all of this stuff. And so they start to call that double and triple minorities, right? That was hijacked from the civil rights movement when, they were trying to make sure that black people had equal rights and the ability to be able to pull themselves up by their bootstraps and not necessarily depend on a federal government to give them anything. Well, the Democratic Party separated people from their families, and wasn't just black people, but the civil rights movement was hijacked by other movements, including the feminist movement, right? And so then you were able to identify yourself as a minority simply for being a woman, right? You were able to identify yourself as a double minority for being a woman of color. And they no longer were just saying black women, they were saying women of color, because we had so many people coming into this country, and then it became a melting pot to where basically everybody is a mutt, right? Most people have some mixture of something else in themselves, and that's fine, because you need to go where you celebrate it and not necessarily where you tolerate it. However, we then use that as leverage to then say, well, you are a double minority, or you're a triple minority, or quadruple, whatever it is. It was hijacked, right or wrong, it was hijacked by the feminist movement, right? And then that movement then became hijacked by the alphabet community movement, because then you became a quadruple and binumeral minority because of your sexual orientation or what you prefer to get bust down as inside of your bedroom, which I have no clue how that became a thing. And then they started adding more letters into the alphabet, and then that's going to be hijacked by the migrant crisis, because what you're going to see is people endear themselves to the Democratic Party not based off of policy, but based off of the fact that they saying that, hey, you let me in here and you gave me the opportunity, and so as a result, we're against that guy because they didn't want him to be in here. Never mind the fact that they came in here illegally. Never mind the fact that you weren't supposed to be here in the first place, and you overstayed your welcome. And it's a lot of people that are here illegally, and then they think that they're here for a certain amount of time, that allows for them to then be valid in the eyes of the law. But in reality, if you go and commit a crime, right, or you go and murder somebody, or you break out of prison, I don't know, I don't care how long you've been off the grid, if they find you, and it's been examples of that, if they find you, you going back to jail to serve the rest of your sentence. So this is one of the rare opportunities where people can do what they want to do and get away with it, and then justify it by saying, you owe me because I've been here. You owe me because I pay taxes. Well, that's what you're supposed to do. I've been paying taxes since I was a young boy and I got my first job. You don't get credit for the things that you're supposed to do. We don't get credit as men for taking care of our children. You're supposed to take care of your children. They didn't ask to be here. So, with that being said, my point is that now we're having a conversation about Kamala Harris and her genealogy and whether or not she's black, right? And I don't even think the issue is whether she's black or not. I mean, it is to certain people that identify based off of color. Me personally, I just think that she's a bad candidate, that she looks drunk half the time. She doesn't know how to answer questions. She doesn't know how to go on off script. And she doesn't even put herself in a position to even get certain questions to force herself to be accountable. And I understand why. It's a smart move. Why would you put yourself in a position to be held accountable, especially when you fucking up, right? But I don't believe that people are not going to vote for her, because if this is true, Candace Owens then discovers, or other people discover, that she's not what she says she was. Of course, the lying part is important, but the other part of it is that so many people have already endeared themselves to her based off of politics. I mean, she still has the Divine Nine and these Greek organizations that's going to stroll to the polls and make sure that they show up for her. She still has Ricky Smiley and Steve Harvey and D.L. Hughley and all of these people that are simping out for her. She still has a lot of black women that's going to rock with her because they don't care. And so many people just don't like Trump because of what was marketed to them and not based off of their own research and understanding. Doesn't matter how much he did for him. Doesn't matter how well your life was in 2016 through 2020. Doesn't matter how awesome things are. Doesn't matter if his policies going forward is going to continue to improve your life. They're going to vote for their own demise because we are a cursed people. And when I say we are a cursed people, I'm not just talking about people that identify themselves as black or African American. I'm talking about America. America is cursed because we've let so many people come in here and dictate what was established as a cultural norm, and the new norm in the culture is whatever is the most popular at the time. So if you have a bunch of people that are simping out that were here already, for people that is not even legally here, and then we're allowing for a woman based off of identity politics to come in and say what we should and shouldn't do in our country, even though she's the one, and that administration is the ones that opened up the borders in the first place. What do you think is going to happen? How do you think that this is going to play out? And what world does this play out in our benefit? And I don't believe, because the people that are cheering this on and the people that are saying, yep, yep, see, she ain't black and this and that. And again, I don't know if it's true or not, because I've just now started to deep dive down a rabbit hole to go and look at the streams, because I want to be informed also. So this is all alleged, right? But even if she's not, let's just say hypothetically that everything is true and she's not. Do you really believe, and this is the question that I have for you guys, and this is what I want y'all to answer inside of the chat. Do you believe that these people that are overly liberal, all of the people that were crying at the Democratic National Convention, and these women that are running around, these white women that are running around with these cat lady shirts on, and the black women that are saying I'm voting for Kamala Harris because she's a woman and she's black, ask yourself this question. And for the men that are simping out because they follow their wives to the polls and their wives is the head of the household and they don't have no backbone. And for the white men that are simping out because happy wife and happy life. And for the Gen Xers and the boomers that are voting because they've already ruined the country, and so they just expect us to continue to go down this path. For everybody that has family members and family that are black, and those people are forcing you or trying to convince you that you always have to vote Democrat just because you're black. Do you believe in your heart that these people, think about what you say before you say it in the chat. Do you believe in your heart that these people are actually going to switch their vote because Candace Owens discovered that she's not what she said she is? Let me know inside of the chat. I appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Make sure y'all get that Teach Henley. 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. Also, make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. We got some phenomenal things coming up this month. Including Block Club, the whole real estate thing in which we're going to be live streaming, including Stock Club, where we go over all of our portfolios, and including the video that I just dropped, the mastermind sessions, the meetups. Come and see me, kick it with me in person on November 2nd before the election in Atlanta, and then come and holla at me in Detroit on December 14th, and we're going to do a Patreon meetup around that. The tickets and the links is in the description and everything like that, so enter discount code Anton, and then we'll go from there. But make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Let me know in the comments whether you think I'm off, whether you think that people are going to still vote for her based off of whatever it is that they think that they like about her, or if you think that there's going to be a massive shift because somehow, some way, people now are going to come to the conclusion that they're going to hold her accountable for lying, even though there's been plenty of evidence that she's been lying about everything that's happened in this administration in the first place. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you later. Peace.